All right, it looks like we're live. Give a minute here to see if we can get people to start filtering in. But we're back. It's late. It's past midnight on the East Coast. SEC Power Rankings heading into week 3. And what a weekend it was. Breaking out the Blantons for you, old Stoopies. Mark Stoops. Oh, and let's throw Hugh Freeze into this as well. They could use a drink, and so could I. So I'm going to pour myself one here. But how about it? Man, what a weekend in the SEC. I'm starting to question whether the SEC sucks outside of about 4 or 5 schools here. So let's get into it. Again, as always, this is your first time. I just got to say this from the top. The only method I use for these power rankings, if Team A meets Team B on a neutral field, who am I picking to win the game? That's it. That's it. All right, so without further ado, number 16. Your game's not even over yet, but I've seen enough to know you're the worst team in the SEC right now. I'm going with Mississippi State. You're getting destroyed by Arizona State. If anybody does, I didn't know this till hell. I just saw it on the game. But Arizona State's in the Big 12. I did know that, but they got voted 16th out of 16th in the media poll there. Arizona State's garbage. Yet they're kicking Mississippi State's ass by 24 points. EKU is a fluke. Give me Mississippi State number 16. I got a drink just thinking about Mississippi State right now. And I moved Florida up to 15th. So you're 15th in the power rankings because you got DJ Lagway. And he looked phenomenal. Anybody that missed it, he set the record in his first start for passing yards for a freshman in Florida history. Now, Billy's such a dumbass. It sounds like he's going to go back to Graham Mertz. So maybe if they put Graham Mertz back in, they're 16th again. So that's no shade at Graham Mertz. He's a fine player, but DJ Lagway could be a generational player. And we'll see who they roll with against A&M this weekend, but I don't have a lot of confidence one way or the other because Billy Napier's our head coach. So Florida, big win over FCS Joe Sanford. You're 15th. 14th, my favorite coach in the SEC, just showing his face. Tried to tell all y'all, Hugh Freeze. How do you lose that game to Cal? Not only did you lose, you got dominated. Peyton Thorne, 4 interceptions. Record-setting Peyton Thorne, I should add. This is the first time in Auburn history that a quarterback threw 4 interceptions. I think I saw that stat. I don't fact check anything. I just repeat what I saw earlier. But man, ugly day for Auburn. You got waxed by Cal, and again, I mean, all of a sudden, I haven't updated my schedule, so pardon with me here. But again, New Mexico, you'll blow the doors off them. But you gonna beat Arkansas? I don't know. Oklahoma, you could probably beat Oklahoma. But again, this could be a really, really ugly season. This was not a fluke. This was Cal dominated you in your stadium. That was just awful. Awful look. Auburn, dead in the water. But not perhaps as dead. Oh, and I'm talking about Auburn. We got 666 people watching. How convenient. Number, where are we at here? Sorry, got Hugh on the mind. 13th, unlucky 13th, Kentucky. Cheers to you, Mark Stoops. It's going to be your last year probably in Kentucky. So I'm drinking some Kentucky bourbon for you. So I have it on good authority. College game day was indeed heading to Lexington for Georgia at Kentucky. And then Kentucky got their ass kicked, let's call it what it is, by South Carolina. Just complete and utter domination. The Gamecocks, Shane Beamer owns Mark Stoops. Sunglasses, pony up. Since Mark Stoops said challenge his fans to pony up, the only thing he's ponied up is damn losses to everybody but Louisville. So what a damn joke, Mark Stoops. He should be fired. He's gonna be this got to be the last year of this. He's a C coach. I've been telling you guys for years. You're just now kind of figuring it out. I don't get it, but Kentucky's awful. Week 1 was a mirage. You got totally embarrassed. You're gonna lose by 50 points to Georgia next week, and we'll go from there. Will we make a bowl game before Kentucky? We'll beat Ohio. Can you beat Vanderbilt? Hell, I don't think so. So Good luck, Kentucky. Your season's in the toilet now. This was a must-win. You've embarrassed the program. You've embarrassed the state. Great job, Kentucky. You're number 13. All right, number 12, South Carolina. Totally turned it around. Again, there's been 2 games. You look like complete dog shit week 1. You were significantly better week 2. So I'm giving you a big jump here. You were 15th in my rankings. Now you're 12th. But if you actually watch that game, I mean, they dominated the fourth quarter. This was not one where I ever, you really thought South Carolina was going to lose, but it was like a pillow fight for about 3 quarters. I mean, it was not overly impressive. Neither offense could do anything for much of the game. But again, give credit to South Carolina. Their defense is suffocating, completely destroyed Kentucky's offense, and that's what you want to see. We need the off. Rocket Sanders had a hell of a game. And now you got College Game Day. You got LSU coming to your house. And all the bad things I've said about South Carolina, look it up. Who's the one that said LSU? That's the game. That's a game I think South Carolina can win. Now College Game Day is going to be even more hyped and anticipated than ever before you could have imagined leading into the season. So Columbia, you got yourself an opportunity to face number 11 in the power rankings, LSU. Speaking of dog shit, they played Nichols. What are these buyout? Yeah, I think the final score, I'm not looking at it, but again, the final score was deceiving. It was, this was a 3.5 quarter ball game. They blew their doors off at the end. I'm pulling up the score, trying to buy time here. Final score. Damn it, this didn't have the scores. Anyway, it doesn't matter what the score. The score was tight. It was like 14-12 right before halftime. LSU is in trouble. Brian Kelly, I don't know how good of a damn coach he is, but this was awful. Now you got an opportunity next week to go on the road and turn it around, but I don't know. I never got any of the LSU hype. I don't know where people were getting that. And it's starting to show itself that, what did I say the narrative was going to be next offseason was, my God, Brian Kelly and them absolutely wasted Jaden Daniels, which they did. Lost 3 games with the most dynamic player in the country. And I apologize. They beat him 44-21. Well, that's because you blew them out in the second half, but that was pitiful. LSU, you do not deserve to be in the top 10. I'm not sure Oklahoma does either, but I got nowhere else to put you. Oklahoma, you're number 10. You have no offense. Pathetic. Can't do anything right on that side of the ball. Literally at the end of the game, they were saying, if they can just complete one pass, they can seal this game. And they nearly fucked that up too. And they did screw up because after they got that, they had a penalty, which gave Houston an opportunity to potentially win the game. So Oklahoma is just a calamity on the offensive side of the football. Thank God they have a defense. They got a safety there at the very end. The defense is legit. The offense is god-awful. And that can change. Hell, South Carolina looked god-awful on offense a week ago, and they just whooped Kentucky's ass. So it's not doom and gloom. You're 2-0. That should be a lesson for you. Try to, it's sad that I'm saying this, but try to be more like South Carolina. One weekend does not define your season, but it is not looking good for Oklahoma as they have not even come close to SEC competition. And of course, their first one is Tennessee here in 2 weeks. So number 9, I got A&M. I'm not giving you a big boost for just killing McNeese. You looked fine. You did what you had to. You took care of business. But, again, I don't know if this is fair or not, but Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois at home today. So all of a sudden, your loss doesn't look as good. We can lie to ourselves and say Notre Dame's a top 4 team last week. Well, we can't say that anymore. They don't even deserve to be ranked, and yet they came to your house and beat you. So we'll learn a hell of a lot more about A&M this upcoming weekend when you go on the road to Florida. It could be another pillow fight. I don't know how effective either offense will be in that game, but we'll learn a lot about them then. All right, now into the top half, and I don't even know if I could call this a top half because, again, I'm kind of splitting hairs here, and there's not a lot of great teams outside of maybe the first 5, but I'm giving it to Arkansas, number 8. And you may say, what the hell? You're drunk as hell. That may be true. But here's the thing. Arkansas, they gave that damn game away. And I'm not rewarding them. Hell, I bumped them back in the rankings for that. But I don't have confidence in A&M, Oklahoma, and LSU to even get up on a team like Oklahoma State on the road. I really don't right now. If Arkansas didn't shit the bed, they would have won that game. They gave it away every way you possibly could. Kind of like Oklahoma nearly just did to a significantly weaker opponent, and Oklahoma was playing at home. Arkansas was on the road. When Taylor Green's firing, man, he is something. He's going to keep them competitive in every game. They're going to lose a lot of games because of their head coach, probably. Just one fuck up after another there. We got to call it what it is there. I mean, it was devastating. They don't know what they're doing when it comes to timeouts. They don't know what they're doing when it comes to kicking field goals or not. Somebody's got to help poor Pittman. Great guy. Love the guy. Give him an extension. But they're screwing it up. I think I heard a stat they've lost out of the last 12 one-possession games. I believe they're 2-10. I mean, that's just god-awful. So, again, I'm putting you at 8, Arkansas, but basically not because I think you're better than half the league. I guess I am saying that by doing that, but because the rest of the league is so bad, or at least has been after 2 weeks. Give me Vanderbilt, number 7. People are still like, you're drunk. 55-0. Beat the brakes off Alcorn. They have one of the best wins in the league right now, beating Virginia Tech. So until someone knocks Vanderbilt off, I'm going to give them their due. I don't know if anybody saw it, but they ran out of fireworks in Nashville. They scored so many points. Now, they probably should have fireworks to shoot off for 60 points, but this is Vanderbilt. We're not used to scoring that many points in a ball game, so I'm not even giving their fireworks crew any hell right now. You're the 7th best team in the SEC after 2 weeks, and I'm just calling it like I see it. Now, number 6, Alabama. And if you just saw the score, you missed one. Final score, 42-16. You say, what the hell? They took care of business, right? No, they did not. They damn near lost to this team. They scored 28 points in the fourth quarter, but until then, it was it was 14-13 in the third quarter. This was just calamity after calamity. Alabama does not look. I know I was hyping them up just about 2 days ago. They do not look championship ready. Caleb DeBoer, I think, was phased that they had Nick Saban there. They were honoring him. They're going crazy with this Nick Saban stuff. He's going to be at every game. He's going to be over his shadow. And I don't like the looks of this. This could be a real problem. The offense was an issue. Again, this is South Florida. This is pitiful, pitiful South Florida. 2 years in a row, South Florida has pushed Alabama. Not a great sign when you got a road trip coming up to Wisconsin this week, and then your next game is at Georgia. You're going to get your ass hammered if you play like this, Alabama and Caleb DeBoer. I'm about ready to write them off already after that pathetic showing. It looked just like last year, except they don't have Nick Saban to turn this thing around. They got DeBoering. All right, number 5, Missouri. Again, they've not played anybody, so it's hard to even give them much credit, but they beat Buffalo 38-0, back-to-back shutouts to start the season for the Missouri Tigers. Brady Cook looked a lot sharper this week than he did last week, so that's a positive. They barely played Luther Burden. He's apparently dealing with some kind of illness, so it's very hard to judge Missouri until they play someone with a pulse. They're doing that this week. They got Boston College coming to town, where College game day should not be at LSU, South Carolina. That's a horrible option. Boston College, Missouri, at least pick 2 undefeated. We're 2 weeks into the season. We can't pick a game with 2 undefeated teams. That makes no sense to me. But Missouri, you're number 5. Again, kind of because everyone below you is sucking. Number 4, Ole Miss. You've done nothing wrong, but I did dock you because you have played no one with a pulse. You beat Middle Tennessee 52-3. Anybody that missed it, Jackson Dart started the game 24 of 24. Just incredible. He is phenomenal. He's taking his game to another level, but it's hard to say, how they measure up to some of these elite teams because they've not played anybody. So, again, I'm not saying I'm not really docking you too much, but we won't know for about 4 weeks how good you are at Ole Miss. So until further notice, Ole Miss, you're number 4. You're probably going to stay there until the LSU game or something, or in case one of these teams above you drops off, which I don't see happening, which is number 3, Tennessee. God, what a beatdown. Nico's legit, but he gets all the coverage. But really, what is making Tennessee so great is their running game and their defensive line, which gets after. They had 10 tackles for loss, and they held NC State to something crazy like 30 rushing yards. Meanwhile, they rushed for over 200 yards again. Any quarterback is going to find success doing that, and then that's not to throw shade at Nico because he's phenomenal. So now that you have this phenomenal quarterback to go with these great pieces, that's what makes you a dynamic team, and that's what puts you number 3 in the power rankings. You won by 41 points against a top 25 opponent away from Neyland Stadium. That's incredible. Tennessee right now, not only a playoff contender, they look like a national championship contender, but there is, in my mind, a slight separation right now because Texas looked damn dominant, going to the big house, taking care of business, doing exactly what we thought they would do. They just absolutely slapped around Michigan there, 31-12. And that 12 is deceiving because Michigan scored at the very end. I wish it was 6. I wish it was 31-6. That would have been even better. But Quinn Ewers is playing at a just sensational level. This defense looks phenomenal. That was one of my key takeaways from week 1 watching Texas. That defense is fantastic. Them in Georgia and Tennessee probably have the 3 best defenses in the conference right now, along with, I'll throw Oklahoma in there as well. But to go with this dynamic offense, to go with this defense, Texas, cannot wait for them to play number 1 on the power rankings, Georgia. Again, Georgia, Cream Puff City this year, or this weekend, excuse me. Tennessee Tech, 48-3, took care of business. Carson Beck had 5 passing touchdowns. This is what we wanted to see from Carson Beck. Have a little bit of a bounce back after a slow debut. But that's the power rankings heading into week 3. I've been wheeling and spieling here, looking for Cousin Shane in the comments. Let me know if you got any questions I can knock out for any of y'all before I get back to this Mississippi State ass whooping. Whew. A lot of crazy comments here. I'm not seeing any questions though. A lot of hook'em horns. Looks like I was dead wrong about Texas. Well, they haven't played an SEC game yet, so we got that's a caveat right there. Cousin Shane says, tell Shane Beamer, I'm sorry. Cousin Shane is thinking about driving to Columbia and getting on game day with a sign apologizing to Shane Beamer and then driving his ass back to East Tennessee. I hope he does it, but that would be hilarious, wouldn't it? But who's starting from Cousin Chase? Who's starting, Lagway or Mertz? You got to go Lagway, right? But Billy Napier says they're going to stay the course with the plan. Of course, he doesn't clarify what the hell that means, but I think what he is trying to say is Mertz is our quarterback, starting quarterback. Lagways will fill in for him if necessary. That, when he says the plan, that's what I assume. And that's why Billy Napier is going to get run off in about 3 weeks. If he runs Graham Mertz out there, and I'll throw up Florida's schedule here. If they lose to A&M, if they lose to Mississippi State, Central Florida, Tennessee, they can lose all these damn games. Why not go with someone that gives you a spark? That's common sense, right, to anyone with a brain, but Billy Napier does not fit in that category. Any other questions you got? Will Kentucky go 0-8 in the SEC? Well, they still play Florida, so no, they'll get 1 win there. That's a win for Kentucky. You'll get a win over Florida. Who else we got here? Maybe Vanderbilt. That's a home game, so you got a fighting shot against Vanderbilt. And then Auburn, their quarterback, he tends to throw about 4 picks in a ball game. If he can get that again, you got a shot against Auburn as well. But those are the 3 conference games where you have a shot. I'm not saying you'll win them, but I'm saying you got a shot, that's pretty good. That's pretty good for Stoops, I guess. He's a C coach. Forrest says Ole Miss will be atop the SEC before long. Maybe. I mean, they look damn good. Walter Nolan, a little gimpy. I don't know what happened there. Looks like he's banged up. Damo, appreciate you, brother. He says, can OU turn it around? Absolutely. But it's not looking good through 2 games. I mean, this is 2 of the lighter games you're going to get outside of course, Maine later in the season. But if you've not been paying attention to Tennessee, their defensive line, it's what we've been saying. They're going to eat your ass alive. Same thing with Texas. So there is not time to get this together. Jackson Arnold looks uncomfortable. Deion Burks got banged up. And after that, it just seemed like Oklahoma's got nothing on offense right now. So that's going to be tough. How about this one from Jackson? I like this question. Who will be the next coach of Kentucky? And that will probably be none other than John Summerall. He's a Kentucky grad, coached with Stoops there. He's at Tulane. Where was he at before? Like he was at another one of those schools, like Troy or something. Like he's an awesome coach. John Summerall, I think, will be the next coach of your Kentucky Wildcats. You can put that in writing there. Will Ole Miss win the SEC? No, I don't think so. But they're in contention, no doubt. Here's the thing. I don't think you want to win the SEC, as crazy as that sounds. No, that's too far. I would want to play in the SEC championship game. I wouldn't. Let Georgia and Texas go and beat their heads against the wall, because who cares? No one's going to give a damn moving forward that you made it to that game, especially if you lose. No one's going to care. You know what people are going to care about? Getting to the college football playoff and advancing. So give me the 3 seed. Give me the 3 seed in the SEC. You miss the SEC championship. You go right to the playoff. You're going to play one of these shitty teams like a G5 champion or a lower seeded team, and your path to advancing is a lot better than going through the SEC championship, playing one of the 2 best teams in the country, potentially losing that, and then falling in the playoff field. I don't know. I don't think you want them. I really don't. If I'm Tennessee, I'm Ole Miss. Give me the 3 seed. Give me the 4 seed, because we're getting in the college football playoff, and we're not playing that extra meaningless game, because that's what it is. Unless you win it, and then you are the 1 seed. But even I have seen arguments made that the 5 seed has it better than the number 1 seed. And that may sound crazy, but here's the scenario that Steven Lassen, our good friend, he's tried to lay out many times, but he made it so long ago, I think people have forgotten. In this new era, right? Let's say we have Georgia number 1 in the country, Texas number 2 in the country. And then they face off. That's not how the playoff is going to do it. They're going to put the winner at number 1, and they're going to drop the loser to number 5. So the number 5 seed, if they win their game, they're probably going to go on to face like number 4 in the playoff. And again, this is not the 4th best team. It's probably going to be like the Big 12 champion or the ACC champion, which may be like the 12th or 13th best team in the country. But because they won their conference, the committee has to seed them number 4. So the path for that 5th seed is favorable for the first couple weeks of the playoffs. So this is a wild system. They've kind of screwed it up. I'm not a fan of it, but you guys will all learn that when we get there. I don't have any desire to play in the SEC championship game if I'm any of these teams, even if I'm Georgia, even if I'm Texas. It does nothing for you when you have higher aspirations to advance in the college football playoff. Let's see. Any other questions here? I'm losing track here. Just spieling here. I thought Cousin Shane was going to be in here being funny, but I'm not seeing anything from him. Cousin Shane ate a whole tub of Dukes at breakfast. I think he did. I don't know if he's a big mayonnaise fan. Oh, here we go. Vols time. Do you believe Tennessee has 1D in college football? I think he's saying the number 1D. Number 1, no, because secondary still seems a little bit of a liability. I like what they have at linebacker, but it's not the deepest group. But they may have the best defensive line, and I'll take a best defensive line over any defensive backs, linebackers in the country. So Tennessee, top 3 defense right now in the SEC. That makes you top 3, maybe not top 5-ish in the country. So I'll take that. Any other questions here? Oh, here we go. Liquid, appreciate you, brother. Should the conference title games be the first games of the playoff? Maybe, but I just don't know how that would work. Because, again, in this scenario, let's just go off my power rankings. It'd go Georgia and Texas in the SEC championship game, right? So how would that be a playoff game? If right now, Texas is number 3 in the country, Georgia's number 1. So we can't have 1 versus 3 in the first round of the play. I mean, it just the only reason they're keeping these damn conference championship games is because for TV and for all the money they get off of it. But it's meaningless now, and they'll never get away. They'll never do away with it, unfortunately, because it brings in so much money. But it's just, again, let's say Texas wins. Let's say Texas beats Georgia in the SEC championship game, but Georgia beats Texas in the college football playoff. Will Texas fans be happy with that? I don't think so. I think Georgia fans would take it. So I don't know. It's kind of meaningless to me. Eric, cousin Eric, I appreciate you. Mike, you're drunk. 8, I'm an LSU fan, or excuse me, Oklahoma fan. We played horribly tonight. I apologize. We will take care of business next time. Yes, you did, my friend. I mean, my God, Houston. And keep in mind, Houston got their ass kicked last week, 27-7 to UNLV. Yet they nearly came into I believe that was a home game for them, and they nearly came into your house and beat you. And Brent Bennett, your coach, said after the game, he should have beat us. We screwed that one up, cost us our... It was awful. It was just awful. But again, South Carolina was awful last week. South Carolina's first place in the SEC as of right now. Can you believe that? In a 16-team conference. Who I thought South Carolina was the 15th best team in this conference a day ago. They're first in the rankings. Now, may only be first for a couple days, but they're first. They're first right now. They were the first ones to ever do it in a 16-team SEC team. DJ says, how many teams can make the playoff? Again, I get why people ask these questions, but who the hell knows, right? We've literally never done this before. We've never seen how the committee is going to vote, and there's so much to be determined. But since you asked a question and you gave me a donation, I will say 4 teams in the playoff: Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, and Ole Miss. God, but now I want to say 5 for Missouri, but no, I don't realistically think, after what we have seen after 2 weeks, I don't think the SEC is getting 5 teams in. I really don't. We've lost too many damn games already in this non-conference. I think 4 might even be a little bit of a stretch, but I'll give them 4. And if it's not Ole Miss, it's probably going to be Missouri. So and hell, no, I was about to say Alabama. It's not going to be Alabama after what I saw tonight. They looked awful. And Alabama, look at the schedule that Alabama's got with, they're going to play Georgia, at Tennessee, LSU doesn't look that tough anymore. Oklahoma sure as hell doesn't. But they still got to play Missouri. What if South Carolina is one of the top 4 toughest games Alabama faces? See how quickly all this shit can change? When you ask me who's going to make the playoffs 2 months from now, I have no idea. But I do appreciate the question. Who is the Heisman favorite? Got to be Nico, right? No. Probably Quinn Ewers right now, after going to the big house and just pantsing Michigan. That was incredibly awesome. I think Jackson Dart, again, he's done it against no competition, but we have to throw him into the mix. And probably Carson Beck. Give me those 4 right now for the Heisman. Cousin Shane, how great were those last 10 days for the Arkansas? You son of a bitch. He was on cloud 9 at halftime. He was calling me, leaving voice memos. We were posting clips. Arkansas's going to the playoff. And then A quarter later, it all blew up in flames. But again, look what just happened to Auburn. They look like dog shit. They lost to Cal. You're telling me Arkansas can't go into Auburn and win? A&M, they've been tested one time. They failed miserably. You're telling me they can't beat them? Now, they could lose to all these teams. They could lose to every damn team on here after what I saw today. But I think they could beat damn near all of them, too. So I'm not writing off Arkansas. It's painful. That's why I pick against Arkansas. I'm going to continue to pick against Arkansas, and I'll be happy to be wrong, even though I was right today. But that's it's not that often that I'm right. So, oh my God. All right, the comments are getting fucking nuts. But as expected, I mean, it's past midnight here. Carolina jackpot. No, sir. South Carolina has jumped to number 12. Congratulations. College game day. First place in the SEC. I think that's a perfect place to end this one. If we held the SEC championship today, it'd be the South Carolina Gamecocks. And I don't think they'd have competition because no one else in this conference has a win. All right, so that's going to do it. Be back tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central, for a whole recap with Cousin Shane. But I do appreciate each and every one of you